Response was, I don't care. The Brooklyn Nets have no shame. Down on this feels like the end. Welcome to NBA Countdown, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook.
And welcome to Brooklyn. We are at Barclays Center tonight as team turmoil. The Brooklyn Nets get set to battle for bragging rights in New York City against their crosstown rival, the New York Knicks. The beginning of a night of crosstown rivalries here on ESPN. Kevin Durant, he's done his part, leads the NBA in total points this season. In fact, he has scored.
What up tonight? What's up, Mark? How you doing, brother?
They cannot be blamed on the great Kevin Durant. Meanwhile, Ben Simmons back, returned on Monday after missing 4 straight games. Actually came off the bench for the first time in his career. He has not scored in double digits in any game this season. They're still trying to figure out exactly what his role is going to be. And with that, we welcome you to the court. We are delighted to have you with us for the NBA on ESPN tonight with Stephen A. Smith and Michael Wilbon, Jalen Rose, I'm Mike Greenberg. Our opening two Nets provided some news for us today. Upon our arrival, Jacques Vaughn is officially now their head coach after one of the most tumultuous weeks any team has ever had.
Are you? Nice, Prince. That's good news. Word. I don't, man. The reason why I don't play fantasy basketball is I don't really know much about it. That's mainly why I don't play. And it doesn't really, you know, it's kind of like fantasy football. Like I don't really know much about it. So that's really where I'm at with that. Is OG Anunoby the best defensive player on his team? I mean, Scotty Barnes said he's the best defensive player on that team. So I like hearing stuff like that. We are back at it. So, what up, Daro? How you doing, brother? Raptors don't get enough respect. You want to have the opportunity to have a conversation with me, Tyrese? Well, here I am. What's going on? What's on your mind, brother? Why am I motivated? Because he didn't do anything else, but he didn't do anything better than LeBron James. That's why he's not better than him. Nothing. He didn't do anything better than James. Nothing. He wasn't a better scorer. He wasn't a better defender. He wasn't a better rebounder. He wasn't a better distributor. He wasn't a better playmaker. He wasn't better in the clutch. He did nothing better than James. Zero. Nothing. King Rice, what up, brother? Yeah. I knew if y'all dudes heard that Baby Jordan logic, that I was reluctant to tell that story simply because of nonsense like that, but I don't take myself that seriously. So it don't really bother me that much. But I knew that it was going to be I knew that it was going to be something. I knew it was going to be something like this if I told that story. So I did know that. I'm feeling the same way I was feeling about Cleveland before the season started. I don't feel any different about Cleveland. I said that the Cleveland Cavaliers were a top 5 seed before the season started. I already thought that they were a top 5 seed. I wasn't totally sure that they were a top 5 seed, but I was on the fence about them being a top 5 seed. And when they got Donovan Mitchell, I was convinced that they were a top 5 seed, and I'm still right there. Are they the best team in the Eastern Conference? Easy. I'm not going to go that far. I did tell that story months ago, but according to them dudes, yeah, it's now something else. Askins, Luka is not the league MVP. Enough with the Luka league MVP logic. Enough about that already. There's no way that they're giving the league MVP to a dude that's the 6th seed again. When you got a dude like Giannis who's doing what he's doing, and just so you know, the Milwaukee Bucks are on pace to win 72 games this year. To win 72 games this year. The only way this happens again is if Luka ends up having the season that he's having and Giannis just falls off. Otherwise, no. Can't see it. I cannot see it happening. Almost a double-double. I averaged 10 points and I averaged 10 points and 9 rebounds. I was the 3rd option on my team. Yes, they are, King. Yes, Cleveland is. Not only are they Cleveland is better than Toronto, and I think that they're in a dogfight with Boston in the playoffs. I think that that's a 6-7 game series, a straight dogfight with them. No doubt about it. Keyshawn, where was this logic last year when DeMar DeRozan basically was doing the same thing last year, where he averaged 35 a game on 60% shooting and they were winning? And I didn't hear a peep out of you about DeMar DeRozan being the league MVP. Not one word. You didn't say one word last year about this. Not one. Oh, so now it's to start the season. Even though to start the season, if I'm not mistaken, the first 2 months of the season, were the Chicago Bulls not at the top of the Eastern Conference? Were they not? So somebody straighten me out. If I'm wrong, straighten me out. Were the Chicago Bulls not at the top of the Eastern Conference for basically 2 months? Was that not going on? So what are you talking about, Keyshawn? What are you telling me? I don't understand what it is. Because the same thing was going on with DeMar DeRozan last year. The exact same thing. And once again, King, for the people in the cheap seats, one more time. He was never the league MVP. Was he in the conversation? Absolutely, he was. Was he going to win it? No, he wasn't going to win it. But was he in the conversation? Yep, he was. I think that you get league MVP confused with best player. Yes, he was, King. And I think you get league MVP confused with best player. Yeah, it is. I do. According to my logic, Henry, he was never in the league MVP conversation. He was never a possible candidate for league MVP. That was never going on, ever. If I let them tell it. Does Steph Curry have a better 14-year career than Kobe Bryant? No, he does not. No, he does not. You have to have success on top of playing unbelievable for MVP. I don't think he did. I do not think that he had a better 14-year career than Kobe Bryant. No, I don't. No, he's not overrated, King. And you and me had this conversation about DeMar DeRozan. What was the problem? Just so you know, from 2010 to 2019, do you know who had the most wins in the Eastern Conference in the NBA? Do you know who had the most wins in the Eastern Conference in the NBA? See, I'm glad you mentioned that. What happened versus? You mean the world champion Bucks? Is that who you're talking about? Yeah? Is that who you're talking about? One more time, Fred, for the people in the cheap seats. The Raptors, they had the most wins. Of those wins, who was eliminating the Toronto Raptors the most in the playoffs? Who did they have to deal with? So DeMar DeRozan is a choker, even though James was his kryptonite. Even though James was his kryptonite, he's a choker. All right, I'm good. When is that, Matthew? Is that New Orleans at the Bulls? When is that? Is that tonight? That should be a good one. Yeah, that should be a really good game. Brandon Roy would be awesome in today's game. Yeah. So if that's true, King, then nobody had an excuse. Indiana didn't have any excuse losing to them. Toronto didn't have an excuse losing to them. Boston didn't have any excuses losing to them. None of them had any excuses losing to them. None of them. That Cleveland team was trash, and there was no way that they should have lost to them at all. And that should go across the board. I definitely think Donovan Mitchell is a top three. I definitely think he's a top three candidate. Top three MVP candidate, no doubt about that. You mean the same Raptors team who, well, not only did they get swept by them that year, they got swept by them the year before that too. You gonna leave that out? And then 2 years before. So they beat them 3 times in 4 years and swept them twice. Sometimes the team got your number, man. So aside from Jason Tatum, Luka, which players under 25 have the most upside? Zion, if he can stay healthy, I think he's going to be the face of the league. Ja, if he can also stay healthy, he's improved tremendously. I love Darius Garland. He's awesome. Those are the 3 guys that come to mind right off the top of my head. Definitely, those 3 guys are the guys that come to mind off the top of my head. But yeah, that's tonight too, Mark. That is definitely tonight. No, I don't think that Simons is on the same level with DG and Maxey. I don't. I think that he's a better version of. I think he could be a better version of CJ. And he's a better athlete. I think he's still trying to figure it out, but I dig his game. I definitely dig his game. Just Wishing Well podcast. What's up, brother? How you doing? What's going on with you? I absolutely believe the Jazz are fool's gold. They're not going to stay together. They are not staying together because this isn't the plan. That's why they're not staying together. For that reason right there. Because this wasn't the plan. Yeah, Paolo Banchero, he reminds me of a more athletic version of Antoine Walker. That's what he looked like to me when I watch him. He looked like a more athletic version of Antoine Walker. He can shoot the long ball. He can actually shoot the mid-range. He gets to the basket on anybody. The pro game just looks a lot better with him in it. When he was at Duke last year, the offense looks really compact. Like it wasn't a lot going on there. But with him in Orlando, the game looks wide open. I think that they have their franchise player. No, I don't think Anthony Edwards needs to be traded. Absolutely not. I don't know if Sharp is Drexler good, but I think that they found a gem in him. So no, podcast. He better than Lamar. I think that he could be better than Lamar Odom. No, I don't. I wouldn't compare him to Lamar Odom. No. That's exactly what the plan is, Jacob. So for those guys to keep playing the way that they're playing, absolutely. They are not building that unit around Sexton and Markin. That's not happening. Sexton and Markin are not going to be the guys that they're building that unit around. Not happening. A bit more fatigue. Spoo, what do you mean? Who does he look like? I don't know if I understand your question, Spoo. What do you mean? Who does Bradley Beal look like? Well, not only Markin, King. I think the Jazz got 4 guys that are shooting over 40%. That's shooting over 40% on the long ball. They got 4 guys. So I'm having a difficult time believing that that's going to continue. I don't know if that's true. Bradley Beal, as far as a player comparison, he kind of reminds me of a more athletic version of Dale Ellis. That's who Bradley Beal reminds me of. No, he doesn't give me Magic. He doesn't give me Tracy McGrady vibes. Michael, he gives you Tracy McGrady vibes. I don't think that he gives me Tracy McGrady vibes. No, I ain't saying that. You are not going to get me to say that. That is not true, sir. No, he does not. But do you have a tough trade? You will trade Gary Trent Jr. for Jordan Poole. Well, I tell you what, Mark, Golden State is not trading Jordan Poole. Like they just extended him. I don't think that they're moving off of him. I doubt that. I doubt that very, very seriously. I compared De'Aaron Fox to Nick Van Exel. That's who he reminded me of. What up, Free Wave? How you doing, brother? Bradley Beal is not Brandon Roy with a handle because Brandon Roy had a solid handle. He had a solid handle, and not only did he have a solid handle, Bradley Beal's handle was not better. I'm not looking at Bradley Beal's handle going, yo, Bradley Beal nicer with the pill than Brandon Roy. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. First year stars. Markin. How about Lauri Markin? I think he's 22 and 8, 22 and I think he's almost 23 and 10 this year. And Do I think he could keep playing like that? I think he could keep playing like that. I don't think that the Jazz are going to stay together, but I do think that he could keep playing like that. Yeah. No, Paulo does not remind me of Webber with a handle because Webber can handle the basketball. He reminds me of Antoine Walker. He looks to me like a more athletic version of Antoine Walker when I watch him. The greatest playoff series that I've ever seen? That's a good one. That's a really good one. I got to think about that. I think the 2016 NBA Finals was probably the greatest series that I've ever seen. That or the 93 East Finals. Could I see a contender trading for PJ Washington? Well, here's the thing, sir. I like PJ Washington. I think he's a really good rotation player, but when I think about a contender, like who could he help? Could he help Atlanta? Is Atlanta a legit contender? I don't think that they are. Is he helping Boston? I don't think that I don't think Boston has anything that they're interested in. Phoenix, maybe. I think he could probably help them. Hey, Keyshawn. Okay, hold on. Stop, everybody. Keyshawn, tell everybody in the room why Atlanta is a contender. I'm not going to say another word. I'm just going to listen right now. Tell everybody why Atlanta is a legit contender. Go ahead. And when I say contender, I mean they can win the whole thing. Go ahead, yo. Tell everybody why they are. I'm just listening right now. That's all I'm doing. I ain't even on that, King. I'm just listening to him right now because he's trying to. I'm clearly sleeping on Atlanta. So I'm clearly sleeping on that. No, you tell me. Don't. You tell me, Keyshawn, because you are the one that. Once again, when I come on here, I'm only talking to you. So all right, you tell me why I'm sleeping on Atlanta. And when I think about the Eastern, I'm just listening right now. Go ahead. I'm just listening. So you see, I think the problem that we have in Indianapolis is they screwed Frank Reich. And the reason why they screwed Frank Reich, because the problem was Carson Wentz wasn't the guy. And what they end up doing is they end up doubling down. And then they go with Matty Ice, who was clearly over. Matty Ice was over. But then they bring him in instead of drafting a young quarterback and building around him. Now we're going to double down with Matty Ice, and we see how that went. I think they did him a favor, to be honest with you. here's my question. You're asking me why don't I think that they're contenders? What do you think a contender is? Let's get to the bottom of that first. Before we even ask what they're missing, what exactly is a contender? Okay, a serious, scary team you don't want to see. That's not a contender. So the Atlanta Hawks are a top 3 seed in the East. All right. I'm interested to see that. Word. I'm real interested to see that. I'm sleeping on it. I'm clearly sleeping on Atlanta. Because when I think about a contender, I think about boxing. I think about a guy that you are a top 10 contender. That means that you got a legit shot to win the heavyweight championship. So the Atlanta Hawks got a legit shot to win the NBA championship. I got 3 teams in the East. 3. As of right now, I got 3 teams in the East: Milwaukee, Boston, and Cleveland. Those are the 3 teams in the East. Those are the 3 teams in the East that I'm seeing. That's it. You can laugh all you want, King. I know who ain't a contender, and that's Brooklyn. I know that. So laugh at Cleveland all you want. And while you laughing at Cleveland, make sure you laugh at them whack-ass Nets, too. I don't think that I'm not sure if Cleveland could win it. I think that if they could get if they can get a legit matchup, I think that they could possibly be in the East Finals. If they could get Boston to deal with Milwaukee, or if they can get somebody else to deal with Boston, then I think that we got a legit. I think that we got a legit shot at seeing Cleveland make a run. However, you know what? All right, let's talk about it. No problem. Let's discuss it. So, this Cleveland Cavaliers team, which last year, right? This Cleveland Cavaliers team, which last year, if I'm not mistaken, they were getting better, and they got decimated by injury, right? They got decimated by injury, and not only did they get decimated by injury, they were at the top of the Eastern Conference before they were decimated by injury. They had a young point guard, and not only did they have a young point guard, they had a rook 5-man, 4-man who was going to be an all-league defender, who this season, now they had that dynamic scorer on the wing. The combination of both Garland and Donovan Mitchell could arguably be the best backcourt in the game. Add that to the fact that the front court that they have may be the best front court in the game, with Jared Allen, with Evan Mobley, who I think that they need to involve more in the offense. I think that if they can involve Evan Mobley more in the offense, I think that they're going to be even better. The problem that I have with Donovan Mitchell is that he is a volume shooter, and he has a tendency, what he has a tendency to do is get guys at a rhythm because he shoots a lot. So because he does that, right? That gets completely thrown off the track, and that gets other guys thrown off the track. But if he could get guys more involved in the offense, and that's Darius Garland's job, if he could get guys, because I watched him against Boston, and he ended up, I think he had 12 assists that night. If he could get Evan Mobley more involved in the offense, and he can keep Donovan Mitchell engaged in that offense, then absolutely, I don't see why they can't make a playoff run. I don't think that they're there yet as a championship team, but I do believe that if they can get a legit matchup, right? A legit matchup, and not only a legit matchup, if they can have Evan Mobley more involved in the offense, I think that they can definitely get more. I think they can have a legit run in the playoffs. No doubt about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mark, he doesn't really pass nearly as much as I'd like to see him pass. Not nearly as much as I'd like to see him pass. But so you dudes, Keyshawn, and because they live for this, right? They live for this. So this is the highlight of their day. So let's get it. Let's talk about y'all smoking the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? This is what I'm understanding from both of y'all. You both are telling me that y'all beat them all the time. Cleveland loses to Brooklyn all the time. Even though Brooklyn is at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. They are not a good team. They are at the bottom of the Eastern Conference right now. That's number one. Number two, to listen to Keyshawn talk to me about the Atlanta Hawks beating Milwaukee, who won 9 straight games. That's what we're talking about. Right. So we're talking about we 10 games into the season. You're the one telling me that they whack. You're the one telling me that they garbage when we 10 games into the season. You telling me that Cleveland sucks. Meanwhile, your team is at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, but you telling me that this team suck. Get the hell out of here with that garbage, man. Get out of here. Beat it. Sick of y'all dudes coming in my live talking this dumb shit, man. I'm tired of y'all dudes. I swear I am. I swear that you dudes get my blood pressure up. You and this clown ass. I swear you dudes get my blood pressure up with this nonsense, yo. I swear y'all do. Because what you do is you just talk. You don't come with anything legit. Nothing legit. Why should I believe in the Atlanta Hawks? Why should I believe that? Yeah, you did beat them when it mattered. Yes, you did. You beat them last season when it mattered in the play-in tournament. Is that correct? And we're talking about a different unit now. Are we talking about a different unit than we saw last year? So today we're looking at a Cleveland Cavaliers team, right? We're looking at a Cleveland Cavaliers team with arguably, if the season ended today, he's a top 3 league MVP candidate. That's number one. Number two, we got an all-league defender on the front line in Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. You got one of the best point guards in the game. But you beat them last year when it mattered. But now we're talking about right now. We're talking about today. Right? We're just talking about today. If it was over today, this is what we're looking at. But you only want to go into 10 games into the season, which is my complete logic. The fact that it's only 10 games into the season. Only 10 games into the season. Okay, he is a shot chucker. And if that's true, right? If that this logic is so dumb, yo. This logic is so stupid, man. It is, man. When I come into this, I come into this with logic that I try to make sense of. But when I'm dealing with dudes like this, I'm straight, yo. Now look what you made me do. Bring blue. No, you won't. You will not see me in 2 months. You might not see me again after tonight. You might not. I'm good on y'all dudes, man. For real. I'm straight on y'all. Y'all dudes be just talking, man. And the stuff y'all be talking about is like when I have conversations about basketball, I like to have legit conversations. I can't have conversations with illegitimate, with illogical people. I can't do that. I can't. I don't have the stomach for that. I don't have the intestinal fortitude, and I'm not tough enough to handle that when I'm listening to people talk when they talk so stupidly, and it just doesn't make sense. Donovan Mitchell is a shot chucker. I mean, he went 50% last season in the playoffs. In the playoffs, he went 50% last season. He is a volume shooter, no doubt about that, right? He is a volume shooter. But to completely dismiss this Cleveland team like they suck, this is what I'm talking about when I say that I can't have legit conversations about basketball with dudes like you, man. I can't. And I try to do I do my best to let that shit go in one ear and out the other. And it's so dumb, yo. It's just dumb, B. I mean it, man. It's so stupid. No, y'all worse. You and him are worse than Ticket. Y'all ain't even close. Y'all ain't even close. As bad as he is, y'all worse than him. Y'all two dudes. Why don't you think the Pelicans are going to make the playoffs? Any particular reason why you don't think the Pelicans are going to make the playoffs? I mean, if you look at the land, I will tell you this. I don't think that they could really. I don't think that they can make a legit run in the playoffs because I think that they are a league guard away from really challenging in the East. I mean, in the West. I'm sorry. I don't think that. I don't have any thoughts on Hackett and Wilson. I don't even watch Denver, to be honest with you. I'll be lying to you, see, if I said that I watch Denver. I don't even watch Denver because I'm so disappointed in what I'm seeing. I actually had the AFC West. I thought it would be the first time in my life that I would see an entire division make the playoffs. I didn't think that I would see that, but I was looking at that division thinking, yo, all 4 of these teams could make the playoffs. And I'm good on Denver. To be honest with you, I haven't watched them. Since that game when they played against the 49ers and we lost to them like 11-9, I'm straight. Yeah. Kawhi may end up forcing his way out of LA. Why would he have to force his way out of LA? He damaged goods, Daro. So I don't in terms of him, I mean, we already 10 games into the season. He missed what? 7 or 8 of them? Something like that. I think he already missed like 7 or 8 games. He might be damaged goods. For real. He might for real be damaged goods. I don't know if I don't know if I could depend on him. Honestly, I don't. I just told you, Pixel, marking. Yeah, I just told you, marking. What, when you say another 2016, I don't know what you mean when you say that. As the guy to put the ball in his hands, and he will make something happen. But I can see him retiring early at this rate. if you have a take on the Raptors possible, on OG possibly. Here's the thing, Ethan. OG already said that he said he the best defensive player in the game. And hello, Jillian dear, how are you? He said he the best defensive player in the game. Well, Scotty Barnes said he the best defensive player in the game. So I don't know how that works. You know, but I think it's a good problem to have. I don't think it's a problem that is. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's great when you got two guys on the team that, you know, take pride in defense. I mean, that helps you out tremendously. No doubt. No doubt. So I don't have any thoughts on the Titans, man. I'm a 49er guy, and Derrick Henry he's a freight train. That's really all I can say about him. Willis just looked like he was out of place in that Monday night game. He just did. So the entire offense is just get the ball to Derrick Henry. So that's really what that's about. No, I don't, Freeway. No, I don't think Chicago can beat the Celtics if they matched up. I think the Celtics have too much offensively, and defensively, I think that they're better. I'm hearing a lot about how Vooch playing the 5 is just not working, and I still don't understand. What I don't understand is or isn't Drummond playing more? I think he averages something like 10 boards off the bench, something crazy like that, like 8 or 10 rebounds coming off the bench. So I'm trying to make sense of that. I got okay, wait a minute, let me see. Brooklyn and the Knicks are on. They're coming on. Are they on right now? And also, what else do I have on here? Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, nothing else is on right now. But still don't know how Obi is third in defensive player of the year and not first or second. How is Marcus Smart over Haven? Is that where it is right now, Mark? I don't watch college basketball. I did I watched the game. I don't watch college basketball as much, but I watched the Providence Rider game last night. I'm good. I don't think anything was wrong with his knee. I just think he got rested. I think that they rested him. That's all that is. That's all that is. All right, take it light, brother. I'm not a soccer guy, Romeo. I wish I could say I haven't watched soccer in years. That stuff does matter. No doubt it does. I think it's going to come back. I think the NBA is going to, the next collective bargaining agreement, they're going to take the one and done rule out, and guys can go right from high school to the NBA. And I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I don't have any problem with it. No, it's not that, Jillian. Keyshawn and King, they come in here with this dumb stuff, man. They just do. And it gets my blood pressure up. Like Keyshawn is telling me that the Atlanta Hawks are winning the NBA chair. They got a chance to win the NBA championship. And I'm thinking, and King is telling me that Cleveland sucks. They ass. And I'm thinking, is this how we doing? Is this what we doing tonight? Really? This is what we doing tonight. He telling me how Brooklyn always beats them. And I'm thinking, damn, I thought I was going to come in here and talk basketball tonight. I really did. But then I got to listen to this nonsense. I do. I got to listen to that stupid shit. And I'm sorry I'm cussing, but I just don't have time. I when I come in here and when I come in here and I talk to you guys, we talk basketball, but I can't handle nonsense. Yeah, I am the same one who said that. Yep, and I'm standing on that too. I'm absolutely standing on that. Hell yeah, I'm saying that. And I'm still standing on that. Hell yeah, I'm saying that. But the complete difference is the Jazz. Let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. In the NBA, and however long you've been watching the NBA, I just want to make sure that I'm clear. When you have a team that trades their best offensive player, their best defensive player, and their second best defensive player, what's the logic? What do you think is going on when that happens? Is there a plan there when that happens? So there is nobody here or anybody that watches basketball that sees that and goes, yo, this team has a legit shot at making a run. You got, I think, if I'm not mistaken, THT, who was on the Lakers last year, he's on that roster. Sexton, who I think is, I had him as most improved. He missed the entire season last year. Markin, who was the fourth best player on Cleveland, is averaging 22, almost 23 and 10 this year, right? Mike Conley, who is 35 years old, he's still on that crew. Vanderbilt, who was a rotation guy, in Minnesota. I mean, he started some games, but he's a rotation guy in Minnesota. Him, Jordan Clarkson, who also comes off the bench. I think he's averaging something like 18 a game. Add all of that up. What are you getting? What are you getting if you add all of that up? Because on paper, I can tell you what you're not getting. You're not getting the number one seed in the Western Conference. So for them to do what they're doing right now, there's no way to predict that because there's no evidence to suggest that that was going to happen. They completely blew up the foundation of their unit. And now you're going to tell me, even though Utah is at the top of the East, at the top of the Western Conference, I think that they're ass. Hell yeah, I do. And you know why? Because in 2 months, when they got 6 games in 9 nights, and the 4 guys that they have who are shooting 40% on the long ball aren't doing that, and they go from 2nd to 7th, and then they go from 7th to 10th, and I'm not preying on their downfall. I'm looking at a team that's been dismantled. They basically gave up everything. They didn't give up some things or most things. They gave up everything. And in the process of them doing that, there's no reason for me to believe that this team would be any good. And the fact that they are, I'm not sold. I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to hear it because I got sucked in I got sucked in last year. Almost got sucked in. I'm not going to say I did get sucked in, but I almost got sucked in last year with Washington. That's all I was hearing. OG, you see my Wizards. You see what they're doing. It was the first week of December. I think they were in second place in the East. You see what they're doing. I'm thinking to myself, easy. I even had to talk to one of my good friends. Should I be paying more attention to this Washington crew? And he told me, yo, do not get sucked in Washington. They're fool's gold. And lo and behold, they fall off the map. So am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised at all. So when I look at the Atlanta Hawks, I try not to bother a lot with I'm a numbers guy. See, like stuff like that, Keyshawn. Like when you say stuff like that, this is what I'm talking about when I say that I have a difficult time taking you seriously as and having conversations with you. I have a difficult time with that. And the reason why is because the stuff that you say to me, it really bothers me because it's not even legit. It's just to try to prove me wrong. Like I can't have basketball conversations with people who are trying to just say stuff to prove me wrong. And even though it's not even so, for example, you have no interest whatsoever in the Utah Jazz. You have zero interest whatsoever in the Utah Jazz. Zero. You care more about making me wrong than you do about the actual Utah Jazz and what they're doing as a unit. All you care about is proving me wrong. So if that's true, if that's the highlight of your evening, you need that to prove me wrong. So I'll tell you what, I will play. I will get myself involved in that. I will. So today, November 9th, 2022, Keyshawn said, if the Utah Jazz are the #1 seed in February, they're winning the NBA championship. Everybody in here, I need you to check mark this day. Please do that. Because this guy said, if the Utah Jazz are in first place on February the 1st, they're winning the NBA championship. Make sure that you check mark that. I want to make, once again, folks, November the 9th, 2022. Keyshawn, who comes into the lives on the regular because he thinks that I'm here for him. I don't have any other content. He comes in and dominates the conversation, which boils my blood anyway. But he wants to be the star of the show. We're going to do that. We're going to make him the star. Today, November the 9th, 2022, if the Utah Jazz are in first place in the Western Conference, they're winning the NBA championship. He said that. Make sure we're clear on that. Number 2, the Atlanta Hawks have a legit shot to win the NBA championship. The Atlanta Hawks have a legit shot to win the NBA championship. November the 9th, 2022. I want to make sure that we are here in 2 months, in 3 months. Who do I have first in the West? I had the Golden State Warriors. I still stand on the logic that the road to the NBA championship goes through the Bay. No doubt about that. And I have Phoenix second. And there was no reason for me to believe that Phoenix in the regular season wouldn't be at the top of the West. I thought that they they had a bad matchup. I thought that Monty Williams got outcoached more than anything. And I think that he's better this year. I think that they're better this year. They are beat up. You know, Cam Johnson is out for 2 months. Ayton just rolled his ankle a couple nights ago against Philly. So they've been beat up. Chris Paul looks like he's been slowing down. But at the top of the West, I still think that the Golden State Warriors will be at the top of the Western Conference before the season ends. Them, Phoenix, Denver. Those are the 3 top seeds. Those are the three seeds that I see in the Western Conference. Those are the 3 that I see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When Kyrie was playing with James, I thought that he was a better version of Norm Nixon. And James was magic. That's what it looked like to me. Yeah, they looking real good, Jillian. They looking really, really good. So Nets top 2 is what? Is what, Dara? Oh, that's great. Nets top 2 is diabolical. Yes, that is absolute basketball, Zay. I love to see it. They don't have a ball stopper. They do not. Hi, FIFA boy. Good to see you, brother. Boston does not have a ball stopper. And that offense prohibits them. And that offense prohibits them from having a ball stopper. That offense pops. He was better than Norm Nixon. But that's what the dynamic looked like when I saw him with James. It looked like Magic and Norm Nixon in the backcourt. You had the Nets as the top 2 seed. You looking crazy right now. Hey, man, listen. What we talking about here? I said Kawhi Leonard gonna play himself back into the top 10 this year. So chill out, Henry. You ain't super wild. You are not super wild with that. I said that Kawhi Leonard was playing himself back into the top 10 this year. He might play 50 games. Maybe. Jill is Ethan, just so you know, Jill is over Doc like you over an ex-girlfriend. You know, like when you see an ex somewhere and you like this, that's how she feel about Doc. I just want to put that's how Jillian feel about Doc. She can't be more over him than she already is. I don't think it's possible for her to be over Doc more than she already is. If she found out that Doc was out, she would be like, about damn time. She can't be over him any more than she already is. It's humanly impossible for her to be over him more. She can't do it. No way. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, Doc. There's the door. Use it. Oh, boy. I feel the same way about James Harden, though. So it's not like it's a situation where that's one-sided. What do I think happened with Udoka? I think that he had an affair in the office. That's what was going on. Yeah. He was involved in an affair. That's what happened. I don't think it was more than one. I don't think it was just that one girl. I think it was more than one girl. So, would I ask Pop what question, Ethan? I think so. 360. Sure. Mason Dan Plumlee. There's a difference between being sick of Mason Plumlee and Mason Dan Plumlee. Mm-hmm. It depends on where you have him rated, though, Zay. Like, if you say he's underrated, where is he rated? I mean, I'm not sure that I can name, since Steve Kerr got the job in 2014, so he's been there 9 years. This is year 9 that we're going into, right? Season 9. So in 9 seasons, I'm not sure that I can name 5 coaches. I think I can name 5 coaches better than him, but after 5, it gets tricky. After 5, it gets a little funky for me. So when I think about Pop, let's see, Phil Jackson, Pop, Red Auerbach, Casey Jones, Pat Riley, Spo. That's as far as I'm going. I'm not going any further than that. I can't go any further than that. I remember you were telling me Jason Tatum in 2 years will be the MVP player. Now I can see it. In Brown too. Well, when I saw Jason Tatum, I just saw the upside that he was getting better every year. And he was only in year 4. And I'm thinking it's getting better. It's continuing to get better. So there's no reason for me to believe that at that time, there was no reason for me to believe that, we're going to be talking about this dude in another year, 2 years tops as a league MVP. No doubt. He went out of his way not to mention LeBron. We were talking about shot blocking, rim protection and shot blocking. And the logic was that Jordan produced more. So is he a better shot blocker than LeBron James? Because that's your logic. Well, yeah, that is my logic. Because what I don't do is I don't just stand on your bag. And that's what you dudes do. That's all you care about. You care about the bag. Even though if a guy doesn't have the same bag as the other guy, but he produces more, I put both of those things together. Those two things matter to me. It can't just be production, and it can't just be the bag. No, it can't just be that. And to talk about James as a rim protector, like I said, he enhanced the chase down block. Yes, he did. I don't think Chuck Daly was a top 5 coach. Maybe a top 10 coach. I don't know if he was better than. He wasn't better than Casey Jones. Let's see. Was he better than Rick Carlisle? Yeah, he was. Was Chuck Daly better than Don Nelson? I don't know. No, I got Duncan over. And I don't know if you saw, I had posted a video about that I have those two guys right behind each other. I got Duncan at 8 and I got Olajuwon at 9. I got these two dudes right behind each other. Yeah, I got them two dudes right behind each other. I got Duncan at 8 and I got Olajuwon at 9. What's wrong with these frames? These just reading glasses. I don't these glasses, I don't actually need glasses. I can see there. I can see when I drive. The problem is that these are readers, and to look at the comments, I need to rock my readers. I think Kerr is better than Nick Nurse. It was James. It was like this kid Wembanyama. That's what it was like that's what it was like when James. Not only was it like that, James's games, his high school games, they were on TV, kind of like how the NBA is on TV. That's how they was doing with James with his games. It was the feature game on a Tuesday night or on a Wednesday night. Yeah. Why, Freeway? Why not? I think with Zach, I think that his mental approach to the game was the difference. Because the skill set, his athletic ability, I really thought that he had Kobe Bryant potential. I thought that he was that good. But watching him, I'm not totally sure if he understands the game. I'm not sure if he does. And not only that, the work ethic, I'm not sure if that's there to get better or to be that dude. So the example that I'll give you is with James and Bryant. So James is working on his game and he's putting in all the work and he's becoming that dude. And then he sees Bryant in the summer of 2007. He had already won the league MVP, by the way, right? He hadn't won the league MVP yet, but he had already taken his team to the NBA Finals. So he's putting the work in to get better. And then he sees Bryant and he goes, okay, I'm working, but I ain't doing that. The skill set is there. The talent is there. The athletic ability is there. I don't have that. I got to get that in order for me to get to the next level. Anything else, I got that. All the stuff that he got, I got all of that. The difference is that other thing, the work. I think I'm working, but I'm not. Okay, that's obviously it. So I got to do that in order to get there. And he did that. And once he did that, it's not a coincidence that he went on this ridiculous run and won the league MVP in back-to-back seasons, right? And not only did he do that, seeing the work that you need to put in enhanced him to do that with his crew. Yo, you dudes got to get on my page. You have to. No, Steph cannot surpass Kareem in my eyes if he gets 2 more rings. And the reason why is because those rings, I understand the logic of championships. That matters. No doubt about that, that matters. But for Steph Curry, you have to have been that guy from the door. Right from the door. We in year 14. Steph Curry had a 5-year stretch where he was becoming it. He wasn't it right from the beginning. Jabbar was that guy from the door everywhere. I was the best player in high school. I was the best player in college. From the door. Not over the course of years. From day one, I'm the best player in high school. I'm the best player in college. I'm the best player in the pros. And it wasn't a question. No doubt. MVP. No, we can't sleep on that, Ethan. If we're going just off championships, man, if we're going off championships and league MVPs, then I can't argue that. I can't. And I won't argue that. But if we're going off championships and league MVPs, Jabal's the best. 6 championships, 6 league MVPs, 6 of them. I saw your Kobe story, so I want to tell you one of mine with an NBA player. You and Jaylen Brown had the same trainer, right? Y'all ran ones this summer for like an hour straight. I didn't win one game. Man. Yes, Jillian, I had just gotten out of I was in the 7th grade and school had just ended, right? We were just getting out for the summer. And I was going into the 8th grade the next year, and I was a huge Len Bias fan. And I remember my good friend Roscoe came to me that next day. I was standing outside my building, and he was like, "Yo, you heard? Len Bias died." And I'm a kid. I'm like, "What are you talking about? He died?" No, he didn't. He was just in the draft 2 days ago. Are we talking about the same guy? He was like, "Yeah, yo, he died." So it went in one ear and out the other. I thought he was on some nonsense. I didn't believe a word of it. And then my uncle ends up telling me the same thing. He goes, "Yeah, man, that did happen." And I just remember just being beside myself because I was a huge Len Bias fan. I couldn't wait to see him in the pros. I couldn't. I was a huge Len Bias fan. I couldn't wait to see him in the pros. I thought he was going to be awesome. League MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, Giannis. I think that Mikal Bridges is going to be back in that conversation. I think that the Defensive Player of the Year, I think Mikal Bridges is going to be in that conversation. I think Herb Jones is going to be in that conversation. I think that OG said that he's the best defensive player in the game. He said that for a fact, but I'm not sure. It was crazy, Freeway, because everything that we got was just from the 6 o'clock news and the 11 o'clock news or the newspaper. That was it. There was no internet, right? There was no streaming. There was no 24-hour news. It was nothing like that. No. So we had to wait for stuff. It's not like it is today where, you get breaking news immediately. Nah, man. It's basic. And remember too, Jill, that it's not like it is today with these kids that you see in college where, you don't really grow up with these guys. Like Zion played 1 year at Duke. So imagine Zion, you're in school, let's say you're in the 7th grade, and Zion plays 4 years at Duke. And you grow up with Zion, and then you see Zion's development in the NBA, right? So that's basically what it was back then. I looked forward to Ewing coming to the NBA because I was a kid in 1982 watching Ewing in the national championship and thinking it's a big man's league. What is he going to look like when he's in the NBA? I was a kid watching Christian Laettner. I was in the 10th grade and watching Christian Laettner go from college to the pros and Alonzo Mourning and Shaq. So we grew up with these guys. I grew up with Earl Washington and Derek Coleman. And the Big East was exactly that. I grew up watching Chris Mullin in the Big East. So to watch Len Bias as a kid, right? As in the 3rd grade, in the 4th grade, watch Len Bias's first year to his senior year in Maryland, I'm thinking, yo, this dude gonna be awesome in the pros. And for that to happen, it was nuts, man. It was nuts. So it's about that time for me, though, guys. It's been real. It's been fun. It's even been real fun. And I'll see you guys soon. Sooner than later. Promise you that. But until then, take it light. Take it.